So you want to become a realtor.
Today we're going to walk you through what it's like to get your real estate license and become a realtor. We're going to break down taking the class, how we studied for it, the kind of things that we did to be able to then take the exam and pass. And then we're going to walk you through all the things that you're going to have to be paying for, because that's one of the best parts about being a realtor is all the fees associated.
Let's get into it.
Step number one on your journey to becoming a realtor is taking the 72-hour pre-licensing course. So this course is a video on demand. It's online, so you can kind of do it at your own pace, which is super nice. If you have another job that you're working, if you're a student working on other stuff, it's really nice in that aspect that you can do it when you can and when you want to. So this course is going to kind of walk you through the legalities of real estate. Real estate is deeply embedded with the law, and it is one of the biggest transactions that people do go through in their life, and it's a major purchase and commitment. And so as your job as a realtor is to know the laws and kind of what your buyers, what your sellers need to follow to be able to legally transact this change of property ownership. So this class really focuses on, like I said, the legalities, and then also terms, vocabulary, stuff like that, so that you're well versed with the terminology in the industry.
Absolutely, yeah. So for me, taking the class, I went with the online option. And the one thing I will suggest before taking the online class is to schedule that exam beforehand. So this, coming from a sports background, I tend to do better when my back's up against the wall. And this allows me, I have an end date in mind. I need to get this amount of work done by this date. And so I scheduled it for 3 weeks out and ended up spending, I think, around 4 hours a day for 2 to 2.5 weeks studying the material. I treated it really like a high school course, because at the time I had just graduated from high school and really wanted to get my license. Therefore, I spent, like I said, 4 hours a day just studying. And then upon finishing the entire course, what I did was take the practice exam. I think I only took it twice. But my goal for that was to take the practice exam until I passed twice with both passing grades. So twice in a row I would pass. And to help me study for that, I would go through the exam and I would find all of the questions that I got wrong, write them down on a paper, and sort of quiz myself on those separately. And then once I finished doing that, I would then jump back into the quiz and usually get a better grade and improve and so on and so forth. So
yeah, and I think that's the best way to go about it, and I did something that's very similar. Just like Brogan, I put the pressure on myself to schedule that exam before I started the class 3 weeks out. So that way I was like, okay, well, come exam day, I'm either going to be really prepared and glad that I put in the time and effort and I'm going to pass this thing, or I'm going to waste whatever money that I booked the exam for. So that was kind of my motivation to really book that exam out and then get going on the class. So I watched through the videos, and I'm a really avid note taker, so I took notes the whole time, wrote down every vocabulary word and then most of the key points from that. So then when it did come close to that, about a week before the exam, I was able to keep running through my notes that I had taken, and then I really focused on the contracts. So I believe there's 4 main contracts that they are focusing on for that exam. So I really just focused on those and made sure I knew the key points, the major parts of those contracts.
The vocab.
Yeah, and again, the vocab, because that's where those really comes in handy. So I did those couple things and got me ready, and I passed the exam first time, and I didn't think it was personally that hard. People say it's typically an easier exam, but I wouldn't sweat it too much.
Right, and then going towards the exam, coming up to the exam, like I said, I just continued to mull over the vocab and the important contract stuff, and then on exam day, they give you 4 hours to complete this exam. I think it's 140 questions?
Yeah, 140 questions in 4 hours. I think I finished in 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was probably in between an hour and 2 hours. Pretty easy, but I like I said, I took it very seriously and wanted to pass on my first try because why not? First tee, baby.
Absolutely. So what that course is going to cost you is $325. So it is a big commitment. So if you do want to be a realtor, you need to make sure that you really want to go through with this commitment. But that $325 could be the start to the change of your life.
So after you complete the online course or in-person course, whatever you decide, comes exam day. For me, this was after 2.5 weeks, like I mentioned before. On exam day, you show up to a Pearson VUE site. This is for the state of Wisconsin. You show up to a Pearson VUE site, and you want to bring 2 forms of identification. I personally only brought one and spent probably around 10 minutes looking for another piece of personal identification in my car, which I did find, and they actually let me into the test, which was awesome.
So save yourself some test day stress.
Right.
Make sure you have those 2 things loaded in your car the night before, so you don't have to have additional anxiety like Brogan had of worrying trying to find that second form of identification.
Right. And then when you get in there, you're going to have to fill out a little bit of paperwork. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember.
It's mostly like personal information, just making sure like your driver's license number, just basically showing you are who you are.
Right. And then what they'll do is they'll assign you to a computer, and you're usually there. I think I was there maybe like 15 minutes early, so I just sort of went over some notes I had taken, and then as soon as the test starts, they'll put you at your computer. They'll usually give you some nice over the ears, and then it's game on.
Yep. So what you're going to do then, once you finish up your exam, you're actually going to wait there for a couple minutes, and they're going to print out your results. So that's one of the super nice things, is that like right after the exam is done, you're going to be able to get your results to see if you passed and you're a knowledgeable and legally licensed realtor, which is super nice. And so then now we're going to break down the price for the exam is $65. And if you don't pass the first time, you can take it again. I don't think there's a limit on how many times you can take it.
I don't think so. But you do have to wait 24 hours before you reschedule, which, I mean, you want to pass first time.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah, put in that work and pass the first time. I believe about 50% of people fail the first time, which definitely shouldn't be the case. So put in time, study, and you guys are going to rock this exam out.
Congratulations, you just passed your exam. The next steps moving forward are 1, to find a brokerage, and 2, file for your licensing.
So finding that brokerage is going to be really important because they're the company that you're going to work for. And once you pass your licensing exam, you do need to hang your license with a broker. So you can't just go out and sell real estate. You need to be associated with a company and with a brokerage.
So a lot of times, right after you pass your exam, you'll actually get letters or emails from potential brokers. A lot of Keller Williams, EXP, a lot of the more corporate, larger firms that will reach out to you in attempts to bring you onto their team. So I would advise to maybe meet with some of those people if you don't already know somebody in the industry that you've maybe had your eyes on. I was blessed with an opportunity to just walk on to the same firm as my mom, which was saved me a lot of anxiety and hassle of trying to find like the job.
And I think it's super nice, and that's something that's going to be really important for you guys to do, because different firms are going to be able to offer you different incentives. So some firms like include marketing, some are they offer a transaction coordinator. So every time you, let's say, put an offer, you just send the information to them and they do all the paperwork. And so that kind of stuff is really important to know, because that's going to change how you operate on a day-to-day basis as a realtor. And then moving into that second step that we mentioned of registering for a license. This step is kind of confusing because you just passed your exam and you think, okay, awesome, I'm a realtor, but not yet, not quite. So here in the state of Wisconsin, you need to file for your real estate salesperson license, and that's through the DSPS, which is the Department of Safety and Professional Services. They're the one that's going to actually hand you the license, say, yes, he took his class, yes, he or she passed their exam, and they are able to be a licensed real estate agent, and they're the ones that are going to grant you that license, and that's going to cost you another $75. All right, so you did it. You found a broker to work for. Congratulations. Now we're going to charge you a $10 fee, or at least that's what the DSPS would say. So now that you found that brokerage that you're going to work for, that license that you just obtained from them, you do have to pay a $10 transfer fee to then record that you're working for this new brokerage.
And your license, yeah.
Exactly. So now that you're becoming an actual realtor, now you're moving into the day-to-day operations, and you need to pay one of the most important fees there is, and that is having an MLS dues membership.
So the MLS, or the Multiple Listing Service, is basically the real estate's agent of Zillow. And this is going to show you all of the listings. It's going to show you it's going to help you schedule the showings. It's going to show you what properties are available. It's going to have delayed, withheld. It's basically a database of all of the real estate transactions within your I guess, what would you say?
Within your area, within your market that you're going to be working in. So
absolutely,
it's really important to be able to know A, how to use that, and then B, to be efficient and be effective at using all the information that's out there.
Right.
That's how you're going to be able to find the properties to show to your clients. That's how you're going to list your properties. And that's basically, like Brogan said, the realtor's version of Zillow. So it's like this exclusive hub of information that realtors are using in your area to be able to find properties, to be able to transact them for your buyers or sellers.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is the largest fee, I would say. It's going to cost you $698 just for access.
Yeah,
and
that one hurts a little bit.
Yeah, it does hurt a little bit, seeing that one come up every year. But another thing that is going to be covered within this $698 fee is going to be your DocuSign and your showing time. So showing time is sort of an extension of Paragon, and what showing time is basically how you set up your showings. So you'll click through on the MLS, schedule a showing, select your time, your day, all of that. What's awesome is it connects through to your phone. The MLS is kind of a clunky software. It's not very user-friendly, even for young kids like us. So showing time is pretty awesome. You can have it on your phone. And then DocuSign, whenever you're going to sign a listing contract, or you found your first buyers and you're looking to write your first offer, that's what you're going to use to send off those documents. Basically, download as a PDF, upload it, and then signature requests and all of that. Keep it digital. It's much easier, at least in my experience so far.
Absolutely, and then it really helps when there's people having to send faxes and getting physical copies and people are out of town and stuff like that. It's just a quick document you send to an email, right. You click through your buttons where you need to sign, and it is a legally enforceable contract then. So that's what's super nice about it, is it really streamlines the process to be able to transact the real estate.
It makes it lesser of a deal, personally, in my opinion. A lot of people, they get psyched out when you have 10 pages of legal wording, whereas when you send it over, you can sort of discuss it over the phone or FaceTime, especially nowadays with
Absolutely.
the Roni going on. But I think it's very essential, and I mean, I guess I'm happy to pay that $698 fee.
Absolutely. And then just to speak to Brogan's last point of how easy it makes it for your clients, the nice thing is that it's going to highlight in yellow all the areas that they need to sign or initial. Yeah. So it's really just a click through, okay, I acknowledge, and then boom, the contract's done. And that stuff, it makes it so much faster and so much easier to use, which we think is awesome. So definitely worth the $700 for all those three things that you're getting right there.
So one of the last fees you're going to have to pay is your eKey fee. An eKey is an app on your phone that will allow you access to the Supra. And here, the Supra, you can see the little blinking light. You're going to download the app, connect it, and then all you have to do is push up and the key is going to drop out. So you'll see these at every house that you want to show, unless otherwise.
Sometimes they have a punch box with like a passcode that they'll give you, but most common, like 99% of the time, you're going to see a Supra out there.
And so to get access to these guys, you're going to need to pay another $225. But this is one of those, non-negotiables, and I really think you have to pay. I don't think you can't pay it. So
you have to have it to be able to show a property with a Supra box. And so what it is a $175 annual subscription, and then a $50 first-time origination fee. So for you new realtors out there, it's going to run you $225, and it's not a fun fee to pay for sure. Yeah. So then the final thing that you might have to pay for is some various brokerage fees. So those can be just high-level admin, office maintenance, things like that. Some places charge desk fees, copy fees, different stuff like that, and it really just depends on the firm that you're working for. So we're not going to give you a clear number for that, but just know that there will be some different fees and stuff that you're going to have to pay for within your brokerage as well.
Right. So to recap everything that we've gone through, step number 1 was to sign up for the class, and our biggest tip for this was to schedule your exam ahead of time. Really give yourself that deadline so you know that you have to put this amount of work in before this date.
Yep, so that's going to run you $325. So then after that, you're going to need to pass that exam, and that is the most important step in becoming a realtor. You have to pass the exam showing your knowledge. Make sure to bring those 2 forms of identification to the exam center on that day. Don't be like Brogan and then cause yourself a bunch of stress at the last second. That exam, don't sweat it too much. It's really not that hard. Just take the class seriously, focus, and you're going to knock that thing out of the park on the first try. and that exam is going to cost you $65.
Yep. So after you pass that test, like we mentioned, you're going to have to pay the licensing fee just to process it through the DSPS. That's going to be another $75. And then upon getting your license, you're going to find that brokerage. And to transfer your license, there's going to be a small additional $10 fee.
Yep. And then the next thing that they're going to hit you with is the most important fee of them all is the MLS dues. $698, but with that you're going to get access to the MLS multiple listing service, DocuSign, which is really important, and then
Showing time
is the last thing that you're going to get access to. Those are all three really important things that you're going to get from that, and it is totally
stuff,
worth the $700 right there.
And then after that, you're going to have to cough up another $225 for the e-key. The Supra, like I showed in the video before, it'll give you access to basically all of the houses that you want to show your buyers and clients. So adding this up, the grand total is going to be, CJ?
$1,398 to become a realtor.
Invest in your future, guys.
It's totally worth it though. Commissions, you can make that back on your first house sale. So kind of see that as the long term, not just the short term. Yes, it is expensive, a lot of fees to pay up front, but it's going to be totally worth it when you guys are snapping necks and cashing checks out there as a realtor.
Oh, I like that.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We really appreciate all your support, and let us know how we can improve these videos.
Peace.
We're out of here. All right.
Boom! God, that was